ॐ विश्वं दर्पणदृश्यमाननगरी तुल्यन्निजान्तर्गतं पश्यन्नात्मनि मायया बहिर्वोद्भूतं यथा निद्रया यः साक्षात् कुरुते प्रबोधसमये स्वात्मानमेवाद्वयम् तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये बीजस्यान्तरिवाङ्कुरो जगदिदं प्राङ्निर्विकल्पं पुनः मायाकल्पितदेशकालकलना वैचित्रचित्रीकृतम् मायावीव विजृम्भयत्यपि महायोगी वयस्वेच्छया तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् ॐ So we have to begin the second chapter of KathaUpanishad with the Bhashyam. But before that, I would like to give you what has gone in the first chapter. So the first chapter, first Valli. First I will talk about that. Then second Valli. Then third Valli. So first 9 mantras of the first Valli of the first chapter. Upanishad presents a story. It's a story of Yamadharma Raja and Nachiketa. But before that, of course, Nachiketa's story. What happened? Why Nachiketa met Yamadharma Raja, etc. So a Brahmana named Vajashravas, he was performing a particular ritual called Vishwajit. And in that you have to give everything. So at the end of this yaga, he had to give all possession as a dakshina. And he had old cows, which he wants to dispose of, giving to Brahmanas. So when he was giving those old cows, Jagdatrunaha, Nirindriyaha, who could not anymore give milk and who could not give birth to a offspring, and that was kind of a cow, dilapidated cows. So he was about to give these old cows as dakshina to Brahmana were present in that yaga. At that time, Nachiketa, his son, told him, "Oh, father, why are you giving this kind of things? You have performed so big yaga, and dakshina is a part of the yaga, and not giving proper dakshina, you won't get the phalam of this yaga. So, I am also in your possession, like the cows. I am better than even these miserable cows. So before you distribute these cows, you must give me as a dakshina to some Brahmin." And of course, he was very irritated by this. He kept on saying actually 2, 3 times. So then father got irritated and he told that I am going to give it to you, send it to this Yamaloka. And Nachiketa took it seriously because father told. So and he went to Yamaloka. We'll see in short. And then, he went to Yamaloka and went to Yamasadanam, to the house. He found that Lord Yama was out of, he has gone out on business. And therefore, he went. So he had to wait out because then if Yama will be out, then only women will be there in the home. So he wanted to stay out. And so Nachiketa remained outside Lord Yama's house. And this is very obvious that Lord Yama will will never be in the home because Mrityur Dhavati Panchama. So basically, yes, okay. It means like this. So, no, I mean, that camera we have to straight, we'll have to. That's okay. It's coming okay there. Okay. Okay. That's fine. And naturally, Mrityur Dhavati, Upanishad says, this Yamadharmaraja keeps running all the time because one or other he has to pick up. So, and anyway, so he was not in a home. And then, of course, Nachiketa remained outside without food. Yamadharmaraja came after 3 days. And when he came back, then he regretted that a Brahmin boy, such a old, small boy, had to stay out for 3 days without food. So he was so happy that and he invited me inside, performed Pada Puja, and offered 3 boons as compensation for remaining hungry for 3 days. And so, 3 values we can see in this section, a small story. That importance of a Shraddha on the part of a Nachiketa, that if you perform a ritual, you should perform with utmost care. You want a result, then you cannot perform carelessly. Okay, I can, generally in puja we do like that. After starting this Shodashopachara puja, 16-step puja, well, you find certain material is not there. Okay, you tell to yourself, this will be okay without this also. I can take something else and can do. We do. That's okay. That's okay. This kind of thing is okay when you don't want a result from your puja. If it is nishkam karma, nothing to, because you don't want any material benefit. You only want a benefit which is doing puja. Doing puja gives you benefit, therefore you are not interested in the result of the puja, which is a material benefit. Yeah. When you do puja without any specific desire, material desire in your mind, that itself gives antakarana shuddhi. And also, since you are performing a karma, by offering to the Lord, relating to the Lord, it will generate punyam also. But that punya will not result into a material benefit because you did not ask for. Therefore, that punyam can help you for a spiritual benefit, which we call grace. That helps in removing the obstacle in your pursuit, spiritual pursuit. So that way, in that case, if you have not, I mean, you have compromised even unknowingly, etc., due to certain helplessness, that's okay. But when you when his father wanted a result, maybe a swarga or etc., then in that case, he has to take care. So Nachiketa has a Shraddha that my father has done such a big yaga, called all this, put so many efforts, and just a simple thing for Dakshina, he's compromising. And therefore, that shows the importance of a Shraddha in performing, properly performing a ritual and giving proper Dakshina. So he conveyed indirectly, Nachiketa conveyed. That's the one value we can take from this story. Second thing is, one must keep the promise to show integrity. So Nachiketa insisted to his father that he keeps his promise to send him to Yamaloka, even if he did not mean it actually. So well, once you said it should be done. That's integrity. Yeah. So promising that I'm sending you there and then, well, you don't fulfill, that's not correct. So the second value we can see is the integrity. Third is a Atithi Pujanam. So, well, definitely, Lord Yama, in spite of his important position and status, well, he respected Nachiketa as a guest. By other way, he could not. He need not. He is a Nachiketa is a simple boy. He is a Lord Yama, and it's a Lord's manifestation. Well, okay, you might have hungry. That's fine. No, 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 no. So therefore, a value of a Atithi Pujanam also you can see here. So this is from first 9 mantras of the first Valli of first chapter. Then definitely now boons. So in mantra 10 and 11, you can see the first boon. Shanta Sankalpana Sumana Yatha Syad Vita Manyuhu Gautamo Mabhimrityo, etc. etc. Prathamam Varam Vrune. So Nachiketa asks for, as a first boon, Nachiketa asks for his father's peace of mind. Because he thought he must be worried. Sending me to Yamaloka, he must be worried. And therefore he might not be even sleeping also. So therefore, definitely, first thing Nachiketa's concern is, well, he should be having a peace of the mind. So that shows an important value of a devotion to parents on the part of Nachiketa. Caring the welfare of his family is highlighted here in the first boon. Then mantra 12 to 19, well, that is second boon. Swatamagnim swargyam adheshi mrityo prabruhitam shraddhanaya mahyam swargalokaha amrutatvam bhajante etad dvitiyena varena vrune. So this mantra, I will give it just gist, not the total meaning of the every verse, etc. It is very difficult. So this mantra, well, describe 12 to 19, describe the second boon, in which Nachiketa asked about a ritual that could benefit the society. Doing that ritual, people can go to Swarga and can enjoy there. So the ritual, the performer will be able to go to Swargaloka. So he asked for, he in a second boon, he asked for the know-how of the ritual, so that he can pass on to the people and they perform it and can go to Swarga and enjoy. So then Lord of Yama taught him, and well, of course, even this ritual is performed with the Upasana also, where the performer will be able to go to not just Swargaloka, even he or she can go to Brahmaloka. If you perform a ritual, just Swargaloka. If you perform a ritual followed by a meditation, Virat Upasana, etc., you will go gain higher loka even. Right? So, as a karma phala, that's a Brahmaloka. And then, so Lord Yama taught this ritual to Nachiketa and then named the ritual, that fire, from the name of a Nachiketa. This will not happen. We will give a name of a son, etc., from the Lord's name. Lord will not be given a name of a Chintu or a Pintu, right? Lord will not. But this is ulta. So that fire in which you are doing this ritual, which will be looked upon as a Virat in a Upasana, that fire will be called by the name of Nachiketa. Actually, Nachiketa means means not. Chi means to collect, to grasp. That which is not available for grasping. Fine. Ketaha means Sravanam, means flowing away, going away. So basically, which is not available for going away also. What is not available for grasping, what is not available for giving up, cannot be given up, is what? Is the Brahman. That is one without the second, which is whole. The whole cannot be given up. Whole cannot be grasped because you are already covered in the whole. Whole can never be given up. If is given up, there will be a hole, H-O-L-E, in the whole, right? One who gives up remain away. Therefore, the Brahman, Parameshwara, is one which cannot be grasped, agrahyam, and also aheyam. So, he upade varjita, we used to always say. Heyam, which cannot be given up, which cannot be upadeyam, which cannot be. So that is a vitpatti of a Nachiketa. So, well, Parameshwara can be called Nachiketa. Anyway, so this is how, our acharyas give the meaning. Anyway, so this ritual is a Nachiketa karma along with this Virat Upasana, etc. That Virat Upasana, for that Alambanam will be that fire of the ritual. So through the second moon, boon, an important value on the part of Nachiketa, we can see that after taking care of parents in the first boon, right? Well, the Nachiketa's next priority was to take care of the society. So he was not a selfish. We could see that he doesn't have a selfish nature. So I got a boon remaining hungry for 3 days. Let me use these 3 boons for myself. No, no, no. So this is showing adhikaritvam also, that he must have a less number of ragad. Ragadvesha means a selfish attitude. I want to consume this. I want to consume this. I want to consume this through my boons. Let me get that. Let me get that. No. Indicating a vairagyam also in that. So he did not ask for a boon to fulfill his own desire. He put the welfare of others. First family, then society. Then mantra 20 to 29. Well, reveals a third boon. Yeyam prete vichikitsa manushe. Mantra 20. Very important mantra. Yeyam prete vichikitsa manushe. Astityeke nayam astiti chaike. Etad vidyam anushistastvayaham. Varanamesha varaha trutiya. This is my third boon, which I, oh Mrityu, oh Lord, Yama, I'm asking this as a third boon. Yeyam prete vichikitsa manushe. In human beings, this vichikitsa, this doubt is always there. Yeyam prete, regarding this preta, regarding the person who has left very well from this body, person who is dead. Regarding that person who is dead, regarding this, there is always a doubt in the human beings who are alive on the earth. What? Whether such a self is there which survives the death of the body, or there is no self other than this body, so that the body, when the body perishes, self also, the atma also perishes. Regarding that, there will be always a doubt, because nobody sees the self which is living this body and going. Nobody sees. So there will be always a doubt. So, etad vidya manushishtatvayam. I want to clear this doubt. Etat anushishtahat. Well, basically, I am your shishya. You teach me about this, because you are the Lord of the death. You know what will be there, anything left after the death or not. That no one is better than you. So, well, varanam esha varaha trutiya. Among all these boons, this is my third boon. So two you have fulfilled. Maybe you are going to teach me later, but then that is what this is third boon I'm asking to. And then definitely you will see in this pray. And so he says, he asked in 20th verse, 20th mantra about this third. Then immediately Lord Yama said, Devairatrapi vichikitsatam pura, nahi suvigne manuresha dharmaha, anyam varam nachiketo vrunishva, mama uparotsihi iti ma srujainam. Don't ask me about this. I'm telling you. Even Devaihi atra. Even devatas have this kind of a doubt regarding the self which survives the death of the body or not. Well, and it is not, it is very difficult to know all these kind of a things. Anyam varam nachiketo brunisha. You ask something else for the third boon. Don't ask about it. Devairatrapi vichikitsitam kila. 22. त्वं च मृत्यु यन्न सुग्नेयमात्थ वक्ता चास्य त्वाग तादृक् अन्यः न लभ्यः नान्यवरः तुल्यः एतस्य कश्चित्. If devatas also have a doubt regarding this, well, then I want to know definitely from you, because it's a very rare thing. And why should not I ask a rare and most valuable thing from you as a third boon? So, and vakta cha asya twadrug anyah na labhyah. To teach about this, is there any atma which survives the death of the body? Regarding that, tadruganyaha vakta. Other than you, there cannot be a better vakta, the teacher. Na anyaha varaha tulyaha. Etasya kasyit. Therefore, there is no other better boon also. And then, well, he found that there is no change on the face of Nachiketa, no disappointment. So then he started giving him some lollipops. Shatayusha putra bautran munishva. Bahun pashun hasti hiranyam ashwan. Bhumer mahadayatanam vrunishva. Swayam cha jiva sharado yavadichasi. So Shatayusha, May you ask for you. He's still boy. You are going to marry. So you ask hundreds and hundreds of sons and then Pautran also. They will also let them have also that kind of a thing you ask. So you ask about your generations. May I have a son and may I have a grandson son? And Bahun Pashun, Hastim, Hiranyam, Ashwan. May you ask all this gold and this. And of course, in those days, cattle was also considered as a wealth. Bhumehe Mahadayatanam. Ask for the resident, a palatial home. Bhumehe. In this Swayam cha Jiva. Sharadaha. May you live 100 years. Or no, 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 not 100 years. Yavadichasi. If you want to live more than 100 years, I'm giving you. Ask this thing. Don't ask about that Atma and all that which survives death of the body. Ye kamaha durlabaha martyaloke. Whatever is the imported stuff which is not available in your martyaloka, imported stuff. Sarvan kaman chandatah prarthvesva. Chandatah. Whatever comes to your mind, just ask. You will get it. Ima ramaha. Sarathaha. Saturyaha. Nahi idrisha lambanaihi manushyahi. Take this paricharikas, apsaras, along with their musical instruments and along with their imported cars. They come all along with you. Abhir mat prattabhi paricharayasva nachiketo maranam manu prakshihi. Don't ask about this death and what is left after death itself and all that. So take this, all these things. Look at the answer of Nachiketa. Shobhavaha martyasya yadantakaitat sarvendriyanam jarayanti tejah. So, apish sarvam jivitam alpameva tavaiva vaha tavadrutya gite. You're all vahaha, all your vehicles and this apsaras and all this, you keep it. You say ima ramaha, means it must be there. He must be seeing around because he has gone there, Yamaloka. Therefore, he said, Tavaivavaha Tavanrutya Gite, all this music and dance and all this, you keep. Shobhavaha Martyase Dantakaitat. Shvaha Bhavaha Vartate Vanava. Shvaha, tomorrow these things will be there or not, who knows? Look at that. Nitya Nitya Viveka. Sarvendriyanam Jarayanti Teja. And even if they are there and you are experiencing, enjoying them, all these objects, Sarvendriyanam Jarayanti. They take away your sensory powers. More you enjoy, more you will lose sensory power. In the process of enjoyment, you lose lot, more than you gain. Api sarvam jivitam alpameva. You are saying 100 years and more than 100 years, well, whatever. Sarvam jivitam. Whatever is there on the earth, which you are seeing right now, sarvam jivitam alpameva. And what is alpam is dukkham. We have to pull from somewhere else. Sarvam alpam dukkham. Right? Yo vai bhuma tat sukham. Chandogya says, Yo vai bhuma tat sukham. Na alpe sukham asti. Anything which is alpam cannot give you sukham. A sense of alpam, sense of insignificance, lack, can never make you happy. Whenever you are happy, there is fullness. When there is a fullness centered on oneself, there is a joy. Right? Therefore, a moment of joy indicates that I don't have any complaint. I am accepting totally myself. I am aware of the full self. Therefore, all this which you are giving, which is within the realm of time space, whether belongs to this play, this world, or a Yamaloka, it is within these 14 lokas. Well, Tavaiva Vaha Tavadritya Gite. Don't give me lollipops. So, Navittena Tarpaniyaha Manushya. Very beautiful. Manushya Tarpaniya. Manushya can not tarpaniya. Manushya can never get satisfaction. Vittena. Any amount of wealth doesn't give satisfaction. Lapsyamahe vittam adrakshma chetva. And even if I want to gain some vittam, why should I ask it as a boon and waste it? Because by seeing you itself, I will be having a lot of wealth. Lapsyamahe in the future because I have your darshanam. जीविष्यामो यावद इशिष्यसि त्वं वरस्तु मे वरणीयः स एव. Jivishyamah yavad ishishyasi. As long as you desire, O Lord Yama, I am going to live because I have come and I'm facing death. And still I'm going back alive. Means I am going to be alive as long as you wish. Facing death, who will we will remain? Facing death means you are dead. So jivishyamo yavad ishishyasi tvam. As long as you desire, O Lord, I'm going to live. Why should I waste this boon for asking long the life and all that? And your darshanam I have got, Lord's darshanam. I'm going to get a lot of wealth. Why should I waste my boon for that? Varastume varaniha sahaeva, which I ask you, yeyam preti vichikitsa, that is alone varaniyaha varaha. That alone I want. Anyway, so yasminnidam vichikitsanti mrityo yat samparaye bhati bruhi tastad vagere. So this is okay. So mantra 20 to 29, well, we can see the qualifications highlighted is Nachiketa recognize that any compared to dharma, artha, and kama, all material goals, moksha indirectly. Not he has mentioned moksha or something, but he wants something which survives death, means which he's interested in a nitya vastu. He's interested in something which is eternal. And that is called moksha. And Atma is Nitya. Knowing the Atma, the self as Nitya, well, one gains freedom from mortality and everything. And freedom from a sense of insignificance, smallness, one will be ever free. That's moksha. So Nachiketa recognized that moksha is a better goal than any goal in life. And this was, of course, a blind acceptance, but born of knowledge that gains obtained through Artha Kama goals are perishable. Anyway, and he revealed also the discrimination between permanent, impermanent, nitya, nitya, dispassion for all these material goals also. So he is having sadhana chatushtaya sampatti, adhikari. And here in this section, in the first valli, well, 20th mantra is very, very, we should remember, yem prete vichikitsa manushya, etc. And mantra 26 reveals Nachiketa's maturity. Very important mantra, Shobhavaha Martyasya Yadanta Kaitat. Where Arthakama and their pleasures are, he says, seemingly good for us. And actually, the side effects of this are worse than their advantages, etc. Because he says, Sarvendriyanam Jarayanti Tejaha, etc. And then 27 mantra also is very important, where he told very clearly, in that Navittena Tarpanyo Manushya, etc. He says any amount of vittam, wealth in terms of anything, not in terms of a cash, anything which you possess that is not going to give you contentment, etc. Any amount of wealth. Okay, so this is how first Valli is over. Now let's go to second Valli. In that now, the first 13 mantras of the second Valli, Upanishad gives a general observation regarding the student of this self-knowledge, regarding the teacher of the self. So keeping aside all other things, so the dialogue and teaching are yet, Yamadharmaraja should start teaching now. But no, he doesn't start. Before that, Upanishad observes what kind of a student should be and what kind of a teacher should be. And what is this teaching? That is given first and then teaching. So the dialogue and teaching are kept aside. And Upanishad talks about the glory of this Vedantic student. And you can see Anyat Shreya, Anyadutaiva Preya, Te Ubhe Nanarthe Purusham Sinitah, Tayoho Shreya Adadanasya Sadhu Bhavati, Hiyate Arthad Yaut Preyo Vrinite. So Shreya and Preya, both, all the material goals are means anitya vastu, which also comes in a situation, and on nitya vastu also appears there. Well, but adadanasya, one who chooses shreya, moksha, over all this arthakama dharma, prayer, then he is He's a sadhu bhavati. He's a really a good student. Like that, Upanishad is praising the student. Generally, Artha Kama Dharma, well, people choose that. We always postpone moksha. That's we can see right now. So people are busy, engaged in where the teaching will go, where the teacher will go, where, etc. All these things will remain. Upanishad remains. Vedas are eternal. We can teach even later. Later also we can learn all this. Let me, gain all this. So this is how procrastination will permanently continue. So anyway, so here says this student picks up Shreya over prayer. And then Vedantic teacher also is glorified. And his greatness lies in two qualities, Shrotriyatvam and Brahmanishtatvam. Shrotriyatvam is what? Is the skill and capacity to communicate the teaching, which cannot be ordinarily communicated. So Atma is basically very subtle, which is not available for objectification. Anything which is available for objectification, you can teach. In fact, you learn everything by objectifying in your mind. Anything you learn, right, by objectifying. Any vidya, you learn as oneself or objectifying in the mind. Objectifying in the mind in the form of thoughts, right? Any knowledge. But Atma is something which is subject. Then how to teach? Because a student will not be able to objectify. If student is not able to objectify the self, then how will you give self-knowledge? You teach about a pot because he is able to objectify in his head. So you can teach about a pot. You cannot teach about a self because it's not available for objectifying. In fact, if he objectifies, keeps on objectifying, he's not learning. The student, right? So definitely, teacher's job is a very difficult job. So verbally, as such, through the words, it cannot be objectified. Any language, the words belong of any language will not be able to objectify the self. Words can objectify the species. Words can objectify the attributes. Words can objectify certain things which does some actions. Like driver. When you say driver, you understand. One who drives, and you can understand the person. Yeah, he's a driver, etc. Right? Words can objectify basically which names are given conventionally. New Jersey or this wind gap. Maybe you can find some meaning. Oh, wind gap, Swamiji, there are mountains in between, there is a gap. From that wind comes, so wind gap. You may say, but generally conventionally, Stroudsburg. Conventionally. Stroudsburg, you are able to objectify so and so place. This many miles away from this. So words in any language naturally all have a meaning, but this meaning is pertaining to the world. Species, attributes, some action, etc. Right? So all that, or some name with a this convention. That's it. Over. Language is over. Atma is not a meaning of any word, direct meaning of any word. Therefore, a teacher needs a special skills in order to which he acquires from the tradition, from his teacher, and his teacher acquired from his teacher. That's called Shrotriyatvam, etc. So that way, teacher communicates to the student. And not only that, Brahmanishta also. Brahmanishta means, well, what he is teaching, he should be aware of. He talks about non-duality, but he doesn't have an insight into non-duality. What is non-dual? Right? If he doesn't have just a small insight into this, that non-dual is this self alone, or which is Brahman, etc. If he doesn't have insight, his words will not carry any meaning.
So I don't know, maybe extra.
Anyway, so teacher should have a insight into what is this Purnam, etc. What is this indivisible Atma, etc. He should have some insight. That's called Brahmanishta. There are other meanings also. Brahmanishta means he is committed to Brahman also, we can say. Committed to Brahman means there is no other agenda on his part. The teacher doesn't have any agenda other than commitment to Brahman. And for that commitment, for owning up the self as Brahman, well, he may adopt the method called teaching. So study and teaching. That's it. That's his agenda. Not establishing anything else. Big factories and medicinal factories and these and that. Ayurveda factories. No. This is only commitment. It's also called Brahmanisha. Anyway. So that's what here it has been said. For the teacher also you can find some verses. And श्रवणायापि बहुभिर्यो न लभ्यः शृण्वन्तोऽपि बहवो यं न विद्युः आश्चर्यो वक्ता. So the teacher of this who communicates and imparts the knowledge of the self will be able to give a clarity. If the student is ready, able to give a clarity to the student also. Unless there are pratibandha in a student's mind, then teacher cannot help. That pratibandha has to go. That's called qualification. Anyway, so if that is there, the teaching itself gives, it's like a light. Seeing they say always seeing a gooseberry, etc., in your hand so clearly. Same way you can understand that you are that Brahman. So anyway, so Ashcharyo Vakta. The Vakta also is Ashcharya. न नरेण अवरेण प्रोक्तः एषः सुविज्ञेयो बहुधा चिन्त्यमानः. This Atma which has been described as a बहुधा चिन्त्यमानः is a mistaken karta, bhokta, this, that, pramata, and human being, and with all the attributes. That's how everyone knows about the I. Well, so avarena narena na prokta. Avarena, the teacher, if he doesn't have an insight into what is really the Atma, individual Atma, Purna Atma, if he doesn't have that, well, he will not be able to convey, because already the students come with all these kind of notions. I am this, karta, bhokta, this, etc. Therefore, ananya prokte gatiratra nasti. Ananya prokte. Well, basically, he knows this ananya, the self, which is indivisible, etc. Then definitely he will be able to impart. So, like that, the teacher also is glorified. And in the verse 9, you can see, the mantra 9, you can see that even teaching is also glorified. Naisha tarkena matihi apaneya प्रोक्तान्येनैव सुज्ञानाय प्रेष्ठ यां त्वमाप सत्यधृतिर्बतासि त्वादृङ्नो भूयान् नचिकेत पृष्टा. नैषा तर्केण मतिः आपनेय. Matihi, this knowledge, this teaching, well, just merely by cannot be derived from the conventional method of just observation logic. This is a scientific method. That is true. Anything pertaining to the world one can gain through scientific methods where there are observations, then there is a logic to establish a connection, everything that is there. But here, na esha matihi, esha mati, this knowledge will not be available by tarkena, means merely tarkena. In order to, you have to analyze the Shruti statement. In analysis of the Shruti statement, you have to use logic. If you don't use logic, well, then also it will not work. But merely by tarka, one cannot arrive at the nature of the self, which that I am Purna, etc. So anyway, so that is been here. Also, teaching also has been praised. So the student, teacher, teaching. Let's say in the first 13 mantras, you can say, in general, of the second valli of the first chapter. Then mantra 14 is most important. What? It says here, अन्यत्र धर्मात् अन्यत्र धर्मात् अन्यत्र अस्मात् कृता कृतात् अन्यत्र भूताच्च भव्याच्च यत्तत् पश्यसि तद्वद. Nachiketa is asked, reminding again, all these things were going on. Now he says, anyatra dharmat, anyatra dharmat. So anyatra means anyat. Here it is said anyatra, but anyat. Dharmat, adharmat, anyat, which is free from this dharma and adharma. Anyatra smat krita kritat, which is not even a karya, which is not if. Kritam means karyam. Akritam, karan. So krita kritat anyat, which is neither which is distinct from cause and effect, which is distinct from dharma and adharma. Anyatra bhutacha bhavyach, which is not even past and which is not a future, but which is timeless. Well, yat tat pashyasi. O Yamadharmaraja, which you are knowing about that self, which is not a cause or effect, which is not a which is distinct from dharma, which is distinct from this time, which was present in past and which will be in future, which is right now there, which is basically timeless. That Atma yattat pashyasi. You are seeing it, you are knowing it. Tad vada. He reminds, etc. And then, well, then mantra 15 to 17 talks about a Omkar Upasana as a method of preparing the mind if the mind is not prepared. So, so basically, all this, in Adhikaritvam, so they always say three obstacles always avidya is there, then malam is there, and vikshepa. So avidya, of course, ignorance is a main obstacle in recognizing that I am Brahman or what I'm seeking is myself. That we'll see later. But this is what it is. Anyway, and then what is that? Malam. Malam means ragadvesha. Impurity means this, ragadveshas. And all born of ragadvesha is anger and jealousy and all. All have a root there. Well, if I cannot fulfill my raga, I have anger. If I cannot fulfill, but other fulfill that raga, jealousy, all that. If I can fulfill, then I will have a pride. Look at that. I'm so successful. Whatever I wish, I can get it. Pride. So all this, kama, krodha, lobha, what you really like it and you get it, you will have a greed also. So kama, krodha, lobha, moha. So you will get deluded also in the process once you are under the grip of ragadvesha. And mada, pride. Matsarya is this jealous. So Shadripu. So that is malam. So you take care of it with the help of a certain attitudes in your life, now called karma yoga, behind actions, etc. Bringing Ishvara into life ultimately. Karma yoga means there is no karma yoga without Ishvara. Whether you receive a situation as a karma phala or whether you do action, ultimately you are knowing Ishvara as one, which is the cause of the entire creation. And therefore, Ishvara is never away from you. When you do action also, you are able to do it with the help of the laws of Ishvara. So he's called Karma Adhyaksha. Because of, even I'm able to speak. It's an action on my part as a speaker. I will be able to do it because of certain laws. My mind is working right now. My jaws are working. My senses are working. All right. And I'm seeing at the same time, all this is because of certain natural laws. They are not laws of taxation, laws of traffic created by human being. No, they're all there with the creation. So anybody is doing an action, they are able to, person is doing because of the laws, which is Ishvara, right? Which is Ishvara. Because he is Vinna Nimittopadan Karan, he is the very material, means he is the form of the law. He is in the form of the laws. And whatever situations you get after doing karma, as a karma phala, comes from the world. That's also Ishvara alone, and therefore it comes from Ishvara. Anyway, so bringing that into, so your raga dvesha, yesterday I told you, so raga dvesha definitely gets neutralized. They will be there, but you will not under the sway of that. They will not be able to create that agitation in terms of krodha and all that. Your mind definitely gets purified from this malam. And then still, even if it is free from malam, mind's nature is that it keeps moving. When raga dveshas are there, it was going towards the objects of raga and dvesha. When now raga dveshas are not there, still mind chanchalam hi manah Krishna. So it will be assumption. Bhagavan said, no doubt. It is a chanchalam only. Yeah, it is chanchalam. So then you need a focusing capacity because you want to learn. Learning definitely requires a silent mind. Yeah. If mind is preoccupied, you are sitting in a classroom, nothing goes inside. Learning requires a silent mind, free from preoccupation. Anytime you have learned in the past, at that moment, your mind must have been free from the preoccupation. Yeah. And therefore, you need upasana, etc. Right? So here Omkar Upasana has been told. Based Upasana, Omkar Upasana. I told the significance in the last session, Easter session. Little bit. Very beautiful. Anyway, and so 15 to 17, basically regarding this Omkar Upasana. And here it is said, Sarve Vedaha Yatpadamamananti, Tapamse Sarvani Chayad Vadanti, Yadichando Brahmacharyam Charanti, Tatte Padam Sangrahena Bravimi, Omiti Etad Deva Aksharam Brahma, Etad Deva Aksharam Param, etc., etc. Etad Alambanam Shreshtham is a Shrestha Alambanam, etc., for recognizing Ishvara as a very self, Etad Alambanam, Param, etc. Because upasana needs alambanam. But ultimately, you become, you gain the knowledge. You gain a capacity to know, gain a focusing capacity, etc. And I don't want to go into that. There is something anyway. And then from 18, you see, Yamuna Dharmaraja starts teaching this regarding the self. Najayate mriyate va vipashit. Nayam kutashin na babhuva pashit. Ajo nitya shashvatoyam purana. Nahanyate hanyamane sharire. In the second chapter, we already have it. So, the 18 to 25, Yamadharmaraja talks about the nature of the self. And the first thing is, Najayate mriyate. Atma is free from the birth and death. Free from birth and death means free from any changes. If it doesn't, a given thing has, suppose, no birth, then where is the question of growth and this and that and ultimately decay and dying and all that? No change. So Atma being free from birth and death, timeless, in which the entire creation rises, takes birth and goes. Anyway, so that Atma basically is free from any change. Nirvikara, free from any change. So my real nature is changeless consciousness. And not itself indicates I am not the body, mind, sense complex, because body, mind, senses, all this, they are subject to time, subject to changes. Your hunger, thirst, subject to change. Your circulation, subject to change. Digestion, subject to change. One day hungry, next day no. Young, quite hungry. Old, no hunger, Swamiji. All. So everything, whatever is within the fold of time will change. Moment to moment change. You will notice the change after some time. You will not be able to able to note the change immediately. That's fine, but it is subject. Nothing changes drastically. Everything is changing slowly, but within time. With the change of a time, it also changes. Time is also a part of creation. Anyway, then the second mantra, 19th, Hantachet manyate hantum, hataschet manyate hatam, ubhautau na vijanitah, nayam hanti na hanyate. Atma is not even a karta. Ahankara is a karta. Right? So a thought of doing, well, you own up. There is a thought of doing. Well, and then ahankara is there to own up. That's a mind. Manaha chitta buddhi, chittam buddhi, etc. Ahankara. Well, the mind does certain. Whenever you perceive something, mind is involved. Whenever you have doubt, mind is involved. Whenever you emote, mind is involved. So a thought of emotion. No, I am emoting. So you thought of a certain memory. No. I am recollecting. So ahankara is a karta. Yeah. Ahankara alone is a bhokta. That's a mind. That's how the waker karta bhokta is no more there in a dream. Dreamer karta bhokta is with a different body, mind, and etc. and experiences dream objects. So it undergoes change, karta. And as the mind resolves, kartrutru bhoktru also resolves. When ahankara resolves, there is no karta. Even though there is an I behind as a witness, right? which is a witness of even ahankara in a resolved state. I am very much there in a deep sleep state. No more karta bhokta. So therefore, if you take ahankara as a karta bhokta, you will not be able to appreciate yourself in reality, which is a witness consciousness, which is free from kartrutvam bhoktrutvam. Fortunately, it resolves in a deep sleep state, and still I is very much present. I slept means that I was very much awake in a sleep. Otherwise, even I slept, you cannot say. So therefore, ahankara was in a sleeping mode, actually. So therefore, antachet manyate hantu. Well, I'm not a hanana karta. And hatashet manyate hatam. I'm not even killed. I'm not a killer. I'm not a killed. With action, particular action. Anyway, so this is Atma, Karta, Bhokta, revealed in a Mantra 19. Mantra 18 revealed Atma is free from any change. Then Mantra 22 also, well, Atma is shown as a Sarvadhisthana, changeless consciousness, which is inherent in the body. And I told in the morning itself, what obtains in the mind obtains in the creation, because creation is evident to you. Creation is automatically objectified. Space is objectified. Time is objectified. Sun is objectified. Table is objectified. Room is objectified. Everything is objectified. Objectified. I, one who objectifies, there is no effort on its part. Right? When you say I am conscious of Swami, well, on your part, there is no will. What is a will? Oh, let me be conscious of Swami. Let me objectify Swami. No, no. Your mind is there. Your senses are, functioning, right? Your senses are functioning. Your ears are functioning, let's say. Your mind is there behind the ears. The hearing takes place. Hearing takes place. It doesn't take any permission. Reveals you are a conscious being. So you objectify sounds and everything, even objectify ears, objectify the body. Body is evident to you, no? You say, I'm conscious of my body. I'm conscious of that body. I'm conscious of the space in between body. So you are able to objectify everything. The whole world is evident to you. What's an effort on your part? Nothing. No will. Because you are there, you objectify. You are always there. Consciousness is always there. Anyway, so therefore, consciousness is the very adhishthanam of everything. Not just consciousness doesn't obtain just in the body. Right? So it says here, if consciousness obtains in the body, then you will be conscious of the body. That's it. This body. But no, you are conscious of everything. Therefore, you are conscious of the space. All the bodies exist in the space. You are conscious of whatever else exists in this. Therefore, you are adhishthanam for everything. You are truth of everything. Without consciousness, you cannot prove the existence of anything. Adhishthanam which lends existence to everything. Anyway, so therefore, Atma is sarvadhishthanam. It's like we used to always say, behind, in all the waves, what is adhishthanam? Water is adhishthanam. Like that. So, Anohaniyan, Mahato Mahinan, etc. has been said here. Means whatever what obtains in the big wave also is water. What obtains in a very bubble, smallest bubble, also is water. What obtains in the cell is the self. Right? But lend existence to the cell. What obtains in the anu, the atom, etc., or even smaller than that, or what obtains in the big cosmic body, geological body, that also exists due to the cell. Anoho aniyan, mahato mahiyan, etc., etc. Anyway, and then in verse 23, it has been said, Nayamatma pravachanena labhyah, na medaya na bahuna shrutena, yame vaisha vrunute tena labhyah, tasesha atma vimrunute tanum swam. This atma is difficult to know. Means objectifying the atma and try to know, well, that way it becomes very difficult. It doesn't, because consciousness doesn't have any property. It appears to have a property because, property of the mithya thing. Lending existence, therefore, a given thing is non-separate from the Atma. Anything is non-separate from Atma. The Atma being pure consciousness appears to have the attributes of that mithya thing. Like, a crystal, which is very close to a flower, then the color of flower appears in the crystal. Even though color appears there in the crystal looks red or purple, whatever, but crystal has not become red. No, crystal remains crystal. Well, it appears. One who knows that seeing, even experiencing a colored crystal, if you take the crystal as colorless, then you have a crystal clear understanding. Okay? Yeah. Yeah. That's your understanding is crystal clear because you don't take the crystal as colored. Same way. Even though Atma appears to be with all attributes. Oh, I'm male, I'm female, I'm black, this, that, I'm Indian, and all so many things. My God, so many things. I'm Karta, Bhokta, look at that. Attributes of the mind being non-separate from the Atma. Because Atma alone is there, which lends. Atma has by nature, its self-existence. And well, it lends existence to everything else. Everything else is mithya. And all these mithya things have a certain attributes, part of the creation. So I appear with the attributes. Mind is non-separate, well then I appear with all the attributes of the mind. I appear with means you will say I am angry, I am this, etc. Emotions are in the mind. You say no. All that is changing is not you. Because you are changeless. So the emotion changes, definitely changes. Anger comes, goes. Then compassion comes, goes. That's all thought. Memory comes and goes. Yeah, 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 Swami, that is very true. I'm losing my memory nowadays. Yeah. All that is changing is not you. It is mind. But you say what? No. I am having a good memory. I am this. I am that. I am perceiver. Look at that. I am perceiver, seer, hearer, all attributes. Exactly like that crystal. So even though let it appear, it is going to appear even after knowledge. Yeah, you are going to say, I am seer. You will not say this seer is seeing you. You will not say like that. Huh? You will say, oh, my mind is seeing you. Actually, I am even not a seer. Yeah. You will not say, oh, this physical body is 58-year-old. I am basically free from any age. If you say like that, nobody will talk to you. So you say, I'm 58-year-old, but in your understanding, you are timeless. That's what I meant, crystal clear understanding. Your experiences with the Ahankara, let it continue. And this is the way it should, there is a communication in the world. You cannot communicate uh, with the people who are also equally ignorant. Then now you have gained knowledge. You cannot communicate differently. Just by simple communication, you cannot, you cannot convince yourself that you have knowledge. If you say this body has arrived today morning from the New Jersey, if you convey, but in your mind you are body, okay? So then that doesn't work. It just doesn't work. One who knows remains silent, in fact. One who doesn't know blabbers more. So it's not. Whatever the way a common parlance is, you continue. In your understanding, you are a Shuddha, Nitya Shuddha Buddha Mukta. That is what is required. Anyway, so here, these are the mantras 18 to 25, like our second chapter, mantras, verses 12 to 25 in the Bhagavad Gita, second chapter. They were showing the nature of the self. Now, third Valli. And here, first two mantras basically, that say, they're introductory mantra in which the Jivatma is likened to a traveler in a journey. So you see, Ritum pe bantau sukrutasya loke guham pravishto parame parardhe chayate po brahma vido vadanti prayacha trinachiketaha. So here in this heart, in the cave of this heart, well, both are obtained, Jiva and Parmeshwara, both are there. Well, Parmeshwara alone obtains in the heart as a Ahankara. That's what it is. What obtains is Ahankara. What you should understand with the teaching is Tvam Tat. When teacher says Tvam means you, the Pramata, the knower, the individual, the Ahankara is Tat, the cause of the creation, Brahman. So you understand that way. So because Ahankara is Mithya, it's always any Mithya is always have a basis in what? Satyam, because it lends existence. Satyam alone lends existence. Whole creation is a mixture of Satya Mithya. Ahankara is also. The Adhishthanam will be always there. So you have to negate. I am Ahankara means I am, in reality, I am the individual. No. You have to negate. And what you are, that you have to own it up. And therefore, basically, so Jivatma and Paramatma both are obtained here. That is true. Where the snake is obtained, there itself rope is obtained. Right? Where the snake is obtained, there itself rope is obtained. So therefore, Brahman doesn't have that I sense. Brahman, along when it manifests in the buddhi, it manifests as ahankara because it's the cave of the heart, etc. So because ignorance is there, it obtains as ahankara. But that ahankara, being a knower, exposes to the teaching and gains knowledge. What is the knowledge? I am ahankara. That's a, or you can say I am atma. I am atma who is time being, well, ahankara. Time being ahankara means atma alone is a time being, that's called ahankara. Waker is what? Time being atma. Dreamer is what? Time being atma. Right? It's the time being atma. Any knower, waking state knower, dream state knower is basically knowledge, consciousness. Consciousness alone manifests in a, when the waking world is there, consciousness alone manifests as a knower of the waking world. When there is a known, then there is a knower. When that known or knower both resolve into the knowledge, or known is not there, knower also won't be there. Known is there, knower is there. Both resolve where? In knowledge, in consciousness. From there alone it arises. How can you say, but please separate? Separate a knower from you, the consciousness. Try. You will try hard, you won't be able to. Anything which is known, Swami is known. Swami consciousness you have. You are a knower, knower consciousness. You know that you are a knower right now, you are seer right now. And Swami is object of sight. Yeah. Means without consciousness, so you are seeing me. Or when you say there is Swami, because I'm conscious of the Swami sitting there, Swami consciousness. The very thought arising in your mind is never away from the consciousness of the Swami, Swami thought. You are aware of that Swami thought is there. What is away? Any experience, all the three factors, the very experience, the object of experience, and the very experience in the head, nothing is away from the consciousness. And one limitless consciousness alone appears in the form of various experiences in a waking, in dream. And all this resolve, you are very much there. Even to have an experience, so-called experience of absence of everything. Right? Even you have an experience of no specific experience. That's called deep sleep state. You have an experience of a no specific experience. You say, I had no specific experience in deep sleep state. I experienced blankness. I experienced even, Swamiji, absence of a very I thought, ahankara. What is that I? Is the basis for all. That I alone says, I alone slept, I alone am waking, I alone was dreaming, right? That I never goes, never comes. Waking time comes and goes. Dreamer time comes and goes. Even deep sleep, whatever the time, well, of course, also in the resolved state, comes and goes. But I am one who is away from all the three, basically timeless. Anyway, so the Jivatma, the traveler, well, basically also obtained in the buddhi. Puja Swamiji always call it as a enclosed consciousness. Like part space is not a real entity. Part space is not a real entity. The space alone as the pot is created, well, we call it as a pot space. In fact, before the creation of the pot, the space was right there on the wheel. The space was right there on the wheel. As the pot is created, now you will have an entity called pot space. Then, from the standpoint of the pot space, you say, oh, there is a vast, infinite outer space. The space was right there. So it's not that the pot has created the space, neither the space has created pot space. It's right there. Same way, consciousness, which is one without second, indivisible, limitless consciousness, obtains when the buddhi part is created, it manifests. So enclosed. It's called ahankara. That's it. Owns up then. I am buddhi or I am mind. I'm this. I am deciding. I am doing this. Ahankara. Right? It's all. I am free from everything. I am like a limitless space, which never comes, never goes. Yeah, pot space comes and goes. Pot is created, pot space. Pot is destroyed. Clear? So this is how we have so many beautiful examples. I'm indivisible, whole consciousness, obtained in the buddhi as a ahankara. Therefore, Jivatma and Paramatma both are available, like that it has been said. Anyway. And then, and of course, in the second mantra of the third Valli, यह सेतुः इजानानाम् अक्षरं ब्रह्म यत्परम् अभयं तितीर्षतां पारं नाचिकेतं शकेमहि. इजानानां यह सेतुः. The people who are performing this Nachiketa Agni, etc., well, for them, this is that ritual itself becomes a setu. And Aksharam Brahma Yatparam means that becomes a setu to gain a oneness with the Virat, because ultimately one gains through this karma and the upasana, one gains a Brahma Loka, one gains a status of a Hiranyagarbha, etc. But then, well, definitely that is a setu, that can be a setu also. You do this yajna, etc., purify yourself with a not having a desire of gaining loka, etc. Then this basically becomes a setu for ultimately gaining a qualification for knowledge. And that way, abhayam titirshatam param, one wants to param titirshatam, one wants to cross over the samsara. One wants desire. Titirshuhu means when tartum ichuhu. So one who is wants to cross over the samsara, then that Nachiketam Shakemahi, we will be able to cross over it by through this Nachiketa. Means Nachiketa ritual, Upasana, etc. Gain Adhikaritvam. We have to understand it. We have to supply. And then gaining this knowledge, we'll be able to. So that's a journey of Jivatma, right? So doing a yaga, etc., Karma Yoga, and doing that Upasana, Virat Upasana, etc., Nachiketa Agni Upasana, and then gaining knowledge. So it's a Jivatma's journey has been shown. Let's just introduce that journey. And then mantra 3 to 9 talks about a means of traveling. Now you are a traveler as a jiva. Now the means have been shown. Yeah. So Upanishad gives a chariot analogy. You must be knowing these mantras, very well-known mantras. Atmanam Rathinam Vidhi, etc. So, in this mantra, Upanishad gives a very well-known chariot analogy to describe the journey. You need a chariot to travel. The Jivatma is sitting in the chariot, and it's a chauffeur-driven car actually. So, Buddhi is your chauffeur. You are paying. In fact, you are guiding also your Buddhi, and then Buddhi guides to something else, and that guides to something else, and proper. In a Mundaka Upanishad, we have an archer analogy. Here it is a chariot analogy. So body is like a chariot. Shariram rathamevatu. Body is a chariot. And Indriyani hayan. So the sense organs are horses of the chariot. And manah pragraha. Mind is a rein. Actually, true. Very true. If you want to control horses, what is required is a rein. When you want to control the senses, you need a mind to control. So therefore, it's a mind. And then buddhim tu sarathim, chariot, I mean the buddhi, the intellect, are very faculty, which analyzes, does it, decides, discriminates between proper, improper, improper. All this is done by buddhi. Buddhim tu sarathim is a charioteer, driver. And finally, who is a traveling in this jivatma is a traveler. So this is how it is. Atmanam rathinam, right? Atmanam is jivatmanam, rathinam. One who is ratha asya asti iti rathi. This ratha belongs to whom? This body, mind, sense, chariot, and the pragraha and everything belongs to the jivatma. It has been given to him for the journey. And what is the destination? It will come. Destination is Brahman is a destination. So it's not a physical distance, but it has been shown. This is an analogy. So sense objects basically are the routes through which we travel, path through which we travel. So through this example, Upanishad gives some very important preparatory disciplines. So chariot or the body must be healthy. Without the fit body, journey will not be possible. So do not neglect your health. That's how they say in doing yoga. You begin with yoga first, doing certain asanas, Yeah. That brings ultimately. So that's how in yoga they talk about this integration ultimately. So the pranayamas, etc. There is a sensory control for pratyahara, etc. also, which is our dhamma. And the asanas, etc., will definitely help you to make your body fit and healthy. Pranas, of course, also help. And damaha, etc., also will be to control over your senses. And and they talk about all this. So, anyway, so the chariot of the body must be healthy. Without the fit body, journey will not be possible. So don't reject your health. Then the sense or the horses must be also well controlled, and that is a damaha. And to keep the sense organ under control well, the mind. Control means here, when the job of the sense organs are over, you will be able to call them back. That's it. Not control means, you should not allow. Like horses, you allow them to graze. But now they have grazed enough. When you call back, they should come back. Yeah. No. We'll continue to graze whatever when you, but not that. So our senses also keep on grazing in the field of this vishayas. Then they Upanishad calls as a dushta ashvaha. They are dushta ashvaha, uncontrolled. No, no, no. Anyway, so this is and the driver also must only the mind through which then sense organs can be disciplined. So therefore shamaha, right? We know very mano nigraha, indriya nigraha, damaha. That is through mind. And then mind should be proper, which will be able to control that. Well, so that is shama. So resolution of the mind. When mind should be allowed to go into its own field. When you want a help of the mind, it should be available to you. That's what the resolution. That's it. Yeah. Involuntarily, mind keeps moving. That's true. But you should allow it also. And it will do. Otherwise, mind, if mind doesn't move around, means mind will not have any thoughts. Then a thoughtless mind, a mind which cannot think, it doesn't have a capacity to think. That mind is a useless mind. What for then mind should be given? Mind is meant to think. And therefore, basically, when you don't want the help of the mind, let the mind move around. But when you want a help, it should be available. Then Swamiji, then why ragadveshas and you talk about? Because if it is having ragadveshas and all that, then it won't come back. Dushtashva. It wants to graze in the field of the Vishayas because of the ragadvesha. No. Therefore, you have to make your mind free from the hold of ragadvesh. Then such a mind will automatically come back when you want its help, especially like exposing to the teaching, reading, etc., listening to a talk. It should be available. Right? You are there physically. The talk is also going on of a teacher, but you are not listening. Mind has gone. That's a dushtasha. So that way we should understand. People think mind should not go anywhere. Anywhere it goes, I will call it back. Anywhere it goes means it thinks about, it objectifies something. No. Then that mind is useless. Becomes dull also. Will definitely become dull. A moving mind, jumping mind is a healthy mind. Like a jumping monkey is a healthy monkey. Monkey which is sitting at a one place is not healthy monkey, definitely. It cannot sit on one branch more than 5 minutes. Maximum 5 minutes. Yeah. Let it move. So anyway. And then driver must know the destination. Our buddhi must know the destination. Purushartha viveka. Here, buddhi analyzes various pursuits and come to know. We will be talking about it shortly. So, driver must know what is the goal in my life, what is the destination, what is the route, everything buddhi. Then that will guide to this mind. Mind guides to the senses, and ultimately, Ratha remains on the track. Okay. I mean, what are the means and ends? One should be very clear about. So all of them must function in coordination, integration, and basically teamwork is required. And that is we call as a arjavam. This is one value which Bhagavan talked about 3 times. Yeah, arjavam, straightforwardness. What your mind thinks, your senses also function accordingly. Your speech, let's say. And what you think, that's what you speak. What you speak, that's what you do. Straight line. So in place of a speech, we can take other sense organs also. Let's say it is upalakshana, basically. Secondary, you can take all senses here. Anyway, so when all these conditions are met, the traveler will comfortably reach moksha. Then mantra 10 to 15. Upanishad talks about this jnanam, the journey now. After talking about the sadhanam, well, now talks about the journey. And it is not a eternal physical journey. It's in form of inquiry, basically. In this portion, Lord Yama beautifully presents this Panchakosha Viveka from 10 to 15. So, Indriyebhyah parahyarthaha arthebhyascha param manaha manasastu para buddhihi buddhehe atma mahan paraha mahatah param avyaktam avyaktat purushah paraha purushanna param kinchit sakashtha sa paragatihi. So, in general, it is a panchakosha viveka, starting from annamaya, etc., to pranamaya, to manomaya, to vijnanamaya, to anandamaya, avyakta, etc., and then to my own nature, which is witness consciousness of everything in the world. I'm really not witness also. I'm given a status of witness because I am a changeless consciousness present in everything, remains changeless in all changing things, invariably present in all changing, varying things, making them illumined, lending the existence, right? That's what, so with respect to that, especially with respect to the mind, which is changing like this, various modes of memory, perception, doubts, etc. You remain a changeless consciousness. So they are all witnessed by you. Therefore, you are called witness. Really speaking, basically, with respect to witnessed mind, various thoughts, various types of thoughts, etc., you remain as you are called as a witness consciousness, which is invariably present in all. And where thoughts are not there, you are still shining, right? Illuminating a absence of thoughts, etc. So basically, that's how it is. Anyway, so this is Panchakosha Viveka has been shown. Mantra 16, 17, well, here now, first stage of teaching is over. these mantras talk about then Falashruti. And that is, so 16 and 17. Nachiketam upakhyanam mrityuproktam sanatanam uktva shrutva cha medhavim brahmaloke mahiyete. Ye imam paramam guhyam shravayet brahma samsadi. Prayata shraddha kaleva tadanantyaya kalpate tadanantyaya kalpata iti. So, so here, phalam has been shown that if you gain this knowledge by exposing to the teaching, then you gain moksha because you are free, you come to know. Not you gain moksha. Gaining in terms of knowing clearly that you are free now. You were free before entering. And now you know, yeah, I am clear. I'm clear that I am free. I'm a free guy. So basically, you enjoy the freedom. You love the freedom. You are of the nature of freedom. You understand that you are free. That's it. That's called moksha. That's how it is nityam. If you gain freedom means you are bound. That kind of freedom is not freedom. That's the experiential freedom we have every day. In a waking state, you see yourself as a small being, bound being, in time, place, and everything, identifying with the body. In a dream, also with the dream body, identify with that. Still, it's a limited being. In a deep sleep state, you experience that you don't have any boundary, right? When the time, space, and everything resolves, well, you have not identified even with the body, mind, senses, nothing. Then you are there. In absence of time, you see yourself. In absence of space, you see yourself. In absence of objects, you see yourself. In absence of any attributes of the objects, you see yourself. So I am timeless, spaceless, attributeless, that is limitless consciousness, right? Which is present in all the three states equally. States are exclusive to each other, but not me. Waker is definitely. When waker is there, the dreamer and other cannot be. When the dreamer is there, waker and deep sleeper cannot be. Deep sleeper is there, then this other two cannot be. But I am the one who is basically ever present. So therefore, knowing oneself as this free self, limitless self, no boundary of time, space, or any attributes. So you get immediate liberation. If you understand this, which has been described, Najayate Mriyate va onwards, few verses from 18 to 25 in the first chapter, one understands, well, it's fine. You don't need second chapter. And if you do not gain this knowledge, well, at least you gain a punyam to reach Brahmaloka, where Brahmaji will give you knowledge, and you gain same thing. So this gives a sufficient benefit even for Parayanam, etc., especially during Shraddha Kala, etc. In presence of the Brahmins, you have called for Shraddham. While you do a Parayanam of the first chapter, you gain Punyam, ultimately, which can help you. Because you don't have any desire. You are like Nachiketa, let's say. You are like Nachiketa, you don't desire anything. Still you do the Parayanam, then the Punyam which is generated will help you to take you to the Brahmaloka, where you will, because of some obstacle here, you would not be able to appreciate that you are a free self. No problem. You kept on doing Parayanam, then definitely you will reach to Brahmaloka, where Brahmaji with four mouths, four Upanishads simultaneously, Mundakopanishad, Kenopanishad, Kathopanishad, Prashnopanishad, all teaching. But I can't listen. He may talk four Upanishads, but you have a Upadhi of a Brahmaloka. It's not like this Upadhi with a lot of limitations. Yeah, it's a different exalted Upadhi you get. Exalted body, mind, senses you got. Going to Brahmaloka means you will have an appropriate body. As depending on the type of loka, you will have a body. Therefore, gaining such a body, you will definitely, from the horse's mouth, right? So you definitely, naturally, since you acquire a new upadhi, the certain pratibandha which were there in this upadhi had gone. You will gain there. Nothing to worry. Either do Parayanam of the first chapter or study. First chapter, not yet totally understood. Second chapter talks about the same. Veda says, Suno. Sunte raho, bas. Yeah. Veda never justifies why I should have a second chapter. Veda will not justify. Other authors have to justify. They have to justify why I'm writing second chapter. They have to justify. They just cannot go on and on. They have to justify that the second chapter is necessary. But Veda says no. Pauna punyena shravanam kuryat. Keep listening, 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 listening. Gives you clarity. That's it. Therefore, second chapter also will have the same, but presentation will be little different. Yeah, present subject matter will be Atma. Presentation will be little different. And therefore, now with this, we will go to second chapter, not now, at 4 o'clock. Okay. I have kept only 2 class. So in between, you can have some japa, whatever you want to do, or you want to listen to something else, or you can do, you can take a walk, etc. So we kept 2 classes. And so one is 9 to 10:30. Second will be at 4 to 5:30. And we'll ask to our people also here who have joined in Zoom, by basically. And if they have some questions, we'll keep a separate session 7:30 to 8:30, or else after 5:30 with a small break, you come back and ask questions. And 6 o'clock you can join for Arati. You can do that also. We'll see. But today we will have a satsang at 7:30. We'll see for 2 3 days. If we do not have so many questions, then we'll cut short. That instead of having a 7:30 to 8:30, we'll keep it 5:30 to 6 or something. Half an hour, it will be over, right? Questions. So we'll do that. Morning meditation will be there, 7 to 7:30. And all meditations will be all 15 days. All meditations will be only Nididhyasanam. I will develop slowly, and in which I'm going to take I am Nityaha, Aham Nityaha, Aham Purnaha, Aham Anandaha, etc., Aham Asangaha. All this we hear the words, and but most of the people tell me that we are not able to sit myself with these words. So we'll do that. And others. So all 15 days will be only on Atma. There will not be Ishvara meditation, japa, etc. No. Okay, because we people are quite familiar with the Bhashyam and all. So, as you know, subject matter very well. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.